Hey everyone, welcome to XiaoWu's channel. Have you ever wondered what a typical house in rural China really looks like in every detail? In this video, I'm going to show you my family's house up close. So come along with my camera and let's go explore. Good morning, everyone. The weather today is really nice. Everywhere you look is full of green scenery, which makes you feel like going out into nature for a walk. So I decided to take you guys around with me. This bicycle has been sitting in the storage room for quite a while. It's covered in dust. I bought it more than a year ago, when I was still working in the city. At that time, I thought I could ride it around on weekends to get some exercise. But it turns out I was wrong. After working hard for 6 days a week, I usually just want to lie in bed and rest. I don't feel like going out for a bike ride anymore. So as you can see, this bike is still almost brand new. I haven't even bought a mudguard for the rear wheel yet. I noticed the chain feels a bit stuck. It's probably too dry. So I'm going to add some lubricant to it.
他们以前走路走得远。
比他的脸上那个洗脱了。OK。
After riding for a short while, I ran into some people who were out cycling together. This road often has motorcycle groups or bicycle teams passing by, because everyone knows it's a beautiful scenic cycling route. The longest distance I've ever ridden was right after I graduated from university. I rode alone from another city back to my hometown, about 260 kilometers. I stayed overnight twice along the way. It was truly an unforgettable solo bike trip. I encountered many problems on the road, heavy rain, flat tires, but in the end, I safely made it home. Now we're on this asphalt road. This is the route that many people take when they go out for motorcycle rides. If you keep riding in that direction, you'll reach the mountain winding road. Driving there can be a bit dangerous, but the scenery is really beautiful. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. Maybe next time I can take you there to have a look. This is another village. You can see that the small shops beside the road have plastic fake flowers or real flowers displayed for sale. That's because Qingming Tomb Sweeping Festival is coming soon. During this festival, people go to their relatives' graves to pay respects and clean them, and they usually bring flowers as offerings. Alright, we've ridden to this point, so it's time to head back. I haven't been out cycling for exercise for a while, so I don't want to ride too far. It would be too tiring.
那个感觉是那个。
I don't know if you've noticed, but the houses on both sides of this road all look pretty much the same. They have almost identical designs. This is what most houses built by rural Chinese people themselves look like. Let me show you the blue sky and white clouds, and the clear stream water. The only downside is that this road hasn't been repaired for many years. The asphalt has become bumpy and uneven. When you ride a bicycle, it feels really shaky. And if your tires aren't good quality, they might easily get a flat. This bike ride took about an hour. It's been a long time since I exercised, so I'm actually a bit tired. From now on, whenever the weather is good, I should come out riding more often, and take you guys to even farther places to enjoy the scenery here. And now, I'm going to show you my family's house. I deliberately chose a rainy day to introduce the house to you, because I actually really like the feeling of being at home on a rainy day. I think that's the true meaning of a house. It can shelter you from wind and rain. This house doesn't belong to me alone. It actually belongs to my parents. My small family lives on the third floor. In traditional Chinese thinking, parents prepare a wedding house for their son. The third floor is the wedding house my parents prepared for me and my wife, when we got married. This is our usual bedroom. Originally, this room was my study and workspace. But later I felt that this room is quieter than the one in the front facing the road, so we started using it as our bedroom too. Outside the window is the mountain behind us. There's no noise, only greenery, and the sound of birds singing in the morning that wake us up. The windows at the back are covered with thin iron mesh, because in autumn, a certain kind of flying insect reproduces in large numbers on the mountain. You can't swat them. When they feel danger, they release a bad smell. Before 567 was born, we already took precautions. This is our living room. Normally, if guests come over, we can entertain them here. However, since my son 567 was born 6 months ago, this place is now full of his stuff and has become his playground. All the soft furnishings in this house, including the ceilings, cabinets, and doors in every room, were done by my dad himself. He's a carpenter and usually makes money by doing interior work. So we didn't have to spend much money on decoration. We only needed to buy the raw materials. The living room is connected to the bedroom in front. Let's take a look at this bedroom. I spend most of my time in this room, working on my computer. My wife and baby 567 rest in the bedroom at the back, so I won't disturb them. Here is a row of cabinets for storing clothes. My dad made all of them using materials he bought himself. This looks like a cabinet, but when you open it, surprise! It's actually a bathroom, haha. Can you guess? It feels a bit like a secret room. Up here in the bathroom there's a water heater. All the hot water for the entire building comes from here, and is distributed throughout the house. When you open this door, there's a balcony outside. In the morning when you get up, you can come here to breathe some fresh air. There's another room at the back. We plan to turn this room into a play space for the baby later. Right now, it's stacked with some of 567's things. This cabinet is also for storing his clothes. You might be curious how we get water in the countryside. Here we use well water, that is, groundwater. This area is far from city factories and pollution, and there are many natural scenic spots nearby, so the groundwater is very clean. We use a water pump to draw the water up to the water tower on the top floor, and then we use it. To solve the problem of low water pressure and weak flow, we use another pump to pressurize the water and send it to the faucets in the bathrooms. This is the third floor where I usually live. Although the rooms aren't very big, they're actually quite enough. As long as you keep them clean, it's still very comfortable to live here. The second floor is my younger brother's rooms. The layout is actually the same as the third floor where I live, but the decoration is different. Because the second floor was renovated only in the last 2 years, the style is a bit more modern. The ceilings, cabinets, and other soft furnishings were also all done by my dad himself. In rural China, as long as a family isn't extremely poor, almost every household will build a house like this themselves. My family's house was built in 2008. At that time, I was still in elementary school. The house wasn't decorated back then. I heard from my dad that it cost about 300,000 renminbi at the time, roughly $43,000. Of course, that was the price from more than 10 years ago. It would definitely cost much more now. Actually, the later decoration cost even more money. But since it was done gradually over time, it's hard to say exactly how much the total was. I estimate the whole thing cost around 520,000 renminbi, or about $75,000. The first floor of the house is the common activity area for our whole family. Usually, we eat together at this table in the living room. Under the stairs on the first floor, we made full use of the space and turned it into a small toilet. It's very convenient for guests when they come over. This is the refrigerator area. The refrigerator on the right has been used for about 12 years. Last year, because we had a new baby 5, 6, 7, we needed to store a lot more things, and the old refrigerator's cooling performance wasn't very good anymore. So when there was a discount on appliances online, I bought this new double-door refrigerator on the left. Now we don't have to worry about running out of space in the fridge anymore. There is also one more room on the first floor. We currently use it to store some stuff, and when guests come over, they can also play mahjong in this room. If there's one thing that can represent rural China, I think it should be the rural Chinese kitchen. A couple of days ago, I tried making a traditional Chinese snack, brown sugar steamed cake. Let me introduce it to you. It's actually very simple. As long as you can get the ingredients I use, I believe no matter where you are in the world, you can make this delicious Chinese-style cake yourself. First, let me show you the ingredients we need. This is brown sugar. This jar of brown sugar was given to us by my wife's parents after she gave birth. In traditional Chinese culture, women need to rest and recuperate for the first month after giving birth. During this time, they eat nourishing foods to recover. Brown sugar is considered good for replenishing blood, so it's often drunk with water. Next is flour. This should be available almost anywhere in the world. And some dried red dates. We need to wash them clean, remove the pits, and cut them in half. You'll see later what they're used for. Now that the main ingredients are introduced, let's start making it. First, measure 180 grams of brown sugar into a bowl. Then add 300 grams of boiling water. Stir well until the brown sugar fully dissolves. After the brown sugar water cools down, we crack in 2 eggs. Then we need to add about 5 grams of high sugar tolerant yeast. Pay special attention here, you must wait until the temperature of the brown sugar water drops below 40 degrees Celsius before adding the yeast. Otherwise, the yeast will feel too hot and will be killed. Okay, now we can stir everything thoroughly, until the eggs are completely beaten. Then measure 600 grams of flour into the bowl. And stir well with chopsticks or another tool. After stirring, cover the bowl with a lid and let it rest for 40 minutes, so the yeast can breathe freely in the dough. If you're in a cold place, you can place the container in 40 degrees Celsius water. The yeast loves this temperature, but don't go over 45 degrees Celsius. If it's too hot, the yeast will die and the whole thing will fail. While we wait, we can prepare some bowls or cups, and brush them with cooking oil. This step prevents the brown sugar cake from sticking to the bowl, making it easier to remove later. Recently, baby 567 has learned to hold his own milk bottle, and drink by himself. As long as he's hungry, he can quietly finish the milk on his own. Alright, time's up. You'll see that the dough has expanded and become much bigger. Now we can stir it with a tool to release the air inside. Next, pour the dough into each bowl. Important note, only fill each bowl to about 2/3 full, because the dough will rise more. If you put too much, it won't fit. Now place the prepared red dates on top, and finally sprinkle some sesame seeds for decoration. We still can't put them in the steamer right away. We need to let them rest in the steamer for another 10 minutes, so the yeast can make the dough rise even more. Then we start steaming. In southern China, most rural families have this kind of traditional earthen stove. This stove is heated by burning dried wood, bamboo, or ferns from the mountain. The ashes fall to the bottom layer and are later spread on the farmland as fertilizer. This kind of stove usually has 2 pots. The big outer pot is for cooking rice. The smaller pot next to it is used to boil water while cooking rice, or to keep cooked dishes warm. In winter, the food won't get cold quickly. Chinese people like to eat hot rice and hot dishes. But eating only this for dinner today isn't enough. My wife asked me to go pick some green vegetables from the vegetable patch by the door. She wants to cook some noodles as well. After about 30 minutes, you'll get these plump and beautiful brown sugar steamed cakes. They taste really good. Making Chinese snacks by myself is one of my hobbies. In the future, I'll often try making other Chinese snacks I like. Since I lost my job and moved back to my hometown in the countryside, I can't buy the snacks I used to get easily in the big city anymore. So I have to learn these skills myself. Welcome to subscribe to my channel. If you're interested, I'll teach you step by step how to make these Chinese snacks. Many of them I'm trying for the first time too. I believe that if I can succeed, you can succeed too. After we finished dinner, the kids from the neighboring house came back from school. I shared the snacks I made today with them.
红糖发糕。
谢谢。
Finally, I almost forgot to show you my favorite place in the whole building, the top floor balcony. Here are all the milk powder cans that 567 has drunk. I've saved every single one. I want to take a photo with 567 and all his milk powder cans, when he turns 1 year old as a memento. There are 2 rooms on the top floor, both used for storing miscellaneous items. Many things in this room are stuff I brought back from the rental place in the city, after I lost my job. This room is where my mom stores various farming tools, cooking tools, and dried agricultural products. Outside is the balcony for washing and drying clothes. It's also my favorite place to stay on rainy days. When I have free time, I usually set up a camping chair here, grab a book, listen to the sound of the rain, and enjoy the mountain view in the distance. I can happily spend 1 or 2 hours like this.
If you're happy and you know it, clap it. Ah, you know it, and your face is proud, show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap it.
Alright, that's it for today's video. Do you have any questions about the house I live in? Feel free to subscribe to my channel, and leave your questions in the comments section. I'll try my best to answer them. Also, feel free to share in the comments, how much does housing cost where you live? Let's discuss together.